Hello there. Welcome to a new episode of An Ordinary Review. Today's episode is different. I'm not here for a review. Today I'm going to launch what I'm going to call as AOR BUZZZ, where I'm going to talk about some of the forthcoming movies which are exciting everyone, particularly exciting me, the books that I have read for which the reviews will follow, and some interesting podcasts that you may want to hear. So let's start with AOR BUZZZ. So let's start the buzz with some of the forthcoming movies that are exciting everyone. The first one on my list is a movie called F1. It's going to be directed by Joseph Kosinski and it stars Brad Pitt. Now this movie is something that the F1 fans are eagerly awaiting. It has got Lewis Hamilton providing his special advice to the director. And this is actually shot in real F1 circuits at the real pit stops and everything else. Now this movie is exciting because Joseph Kosinski is at the helm. He's one of those three directors that I admire a lot for the amount of technology advancement they do in movie making. James Cameron, Christopher Nolan, and Joseph Kosinski. His body of work is Tron Legacy, Oblivion, and Top Gun Maverick. So you can very well imagine why there is so much excitement about F1. And Joseph Kosinski is taking the camera technology to the next level. In this movie, he's trying to create the speed, the thrill of the speed of an F1 race that the viewers will get to feel. So his advancement in shooting technology is going to really excite you as you watch this movie. So this is one of the most awaited movies for 2025. Let's look forward to F1. The second movie that may excite everyone is a sequel to the 2016 sleeper hit, The Accountant. That movie starred Ben Affleck, Jon Beranthal, and Anna Kendrick. And if you have seen that movie, you would remember Ben Affleck plays an autistic person who is a nerdy accountant who can crack any accounting problem. And when he finds there are misgivings in the accounts of a company, they go after him, and now how he defends himself along with his brother, Jon Beranthal. And he's turned out to be a trained killer. Well, the sequel takes the story forward. From the trailer, it seems now the accountant is taking the help of his brother, Jon Beranthal, to find out who killed the Treasury Secretary played by JK Simmons. So it looks like a sequel that will have more of the action that was there in part 1. But what I found so interesting in 2016 was this nerdiness of Ben Affleck and how he cracks the accounting problem, and later it becomes an action movie. Well, this movie's trailer, The Accountant 2, seems to be an all-out action movie. May not be very interesting, but still it's a sequel that we are looking forward to see how good it is. So that's The Accountant 2. And on to the final movie for this episode of AOR BUZZZ. That seems exciting. This movie is called The Amateur. It stars Rami, Malek, Rachel Brosnahan, Laurence Fishburne, and Jon Beranthal. Well, this movie has Rami Malek playing a CIA cryptographic analyst. His wife, played by Rachel Brosnahan, gets kidnapped by terrorists and she is killed. And now he is thirsting for revenge. So he wants the CIA to train him to be a killer. But they find him to be a very nerdy guy who cannot be trained for killer. So he takes upon himself and his intelligence on how he'll go after his killers using his analytical skills is what seems very exciting in this movie. The trailer seems exciting. I am really looking forward to this movie, not only because of the story, but also because of Rami Malek. We know how good an actor he is, and I'm sure he will do justice to his role in this movie. So look forward to The Amateur coming out soon. We move on to the book section. Well, the book that I read recently and I would recommend all of you to read is Knife, Meditations After an Attempted Murder by the acclaimed author Salman Rushdie. Now, I'll be reviewing this book in a separate episode, but why I would recommend this book for all of you to read, first of all, this is Salman Rushdie's self-reflection after a fatal knife attack that he got in August 2022. This book is all about how he went through the trauma after the attack, his recovery, his reflections on his life, his past and present, and how he is looking forward to the future, where some things have permanently changed for him after the attack. So very interesting book, more so because this is one rare book of Salman Rushdie that's written in English that you can follow. I have tried reading his books in the past. He's an acclaimed author, a magnificent writer, but then his English is tough to read. I think you have to get used to it. But after having read this book, I'm looking forward to read his other works. So here's Knife by Salman Rushdie. The book that I'm looking forward to read is the book Ratan Tata, A Life by Thomas Mathew. Now, I had the privilege of listening to this author, Thomas Mathew, in one of our leadership meets recently. Magnificent writer, he's an ex-IAS officer, and the amount of detail that he has got into of Ratan Tata's life, the legendary leader, tycoon, and a person par excellence. His quotes, his stories, and all the anecdotes that he gave in that lecture was so mesmerizing and fascinating that I'm truly looking forward to reading this book. So this is going to be my next read. Look forward to the review of this book once I've finished it. With that, on to the final segment. What is an interesting podcast that I have been listening recently, which I would recommend for all of you to listen? Now, this is a true crime podcast. So if you're a true crime fan, I'm sure you will love this. This podcast is called Desi Crime. It is hosted by two young podcasters, Aishwarya Singh and Aryan Misra. And the podcast, the way they tell the story, the amount of detail they capture, I think is fascinating. So if you're a true crime fan, don't miss out in subscribing to this podcast called Desi Crime. It's available on Spotify, it's available on Apple Podcast and all other popular platforms. They also have their own YouTube channel. So if you'd like to see some of their episodes, you can subscribe to their YouTube channel as well. So check out Desi Crime if you're a true crime fan. So there you go, the first AOR Buzz episode. I hope you liked it. I tried to bring something different this time. Some exciting movies on the anvil, some books that are going to be fascinating reads, and a podcast that I would recommend for you to listen. Well, I will bring more exciting stuff, including my reviews, in the upcoming episodes. If you are unable to see my episode on YouTube, you can always check them out on Apple Podcast or Spotify. Till next time, do take good care of yourselves, and signing off. Bye-bye.